Blade, 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 blade.
Blade, 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 blade. We're gonna make a new song.
Blade, 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 blade.
Blade, 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 blade.
Do
blade,
levels,
blade,
but with
blade,
blade. Or Sandstorm, but with blade.
Blade, blade, blade. Blade, blade,
Blade, blade, blade,
blade.
blade, blade, blade.
Like,
I forget how it goes.
however Sandstorm goes, but yeah, with blade.
That's just blade. It's all blades.
Blade.
You really got to get the blah blah blah.
Blade.
Brought to you by Gillette.
Blade sponsored by Gillette.
Get
Get the smoothest shave you've ever had. With
absolutely somebody in marketing for this movie dropped the ball big time on product placement.
I would say they dropped the ball big time because I haven't seen this movie until right now. So yeah, they dropped the ball. I didn't know this was good. What the hell?
I was
I don't
2
know.
years old and I
What
haven't
the
seen this
hell?
yet.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is the first comic book movie that wasn't silly
It was kind of silly.
compared to the. All right, cool.
It was a little silly.
All right. So Batman and Robin, what was that compared to this then?
Okay. All right. It's unfair to call in Batman and Robin in a debate because, of course, that's the more silly.
No, I wasn't calling it Batman and Robin. That's the comic book movies before Blade was Batman and Robin with George Clooney.
Yeah, but Michael, I think you need to chill.
No.
You need to
That's
chill.
exactly what I'm saying. Like this is
Michael, your opinions, you need to chill.
whatever. Whatever.
Just bring us right in and tell us
Shit.
how you think.
Okay, all right. You know what? You want to know how I feel? Do you really want to know how I feel? Michael,
Say it a third time.
do you want to know how I feel?
Not really. You're pissing me off.
All right. Well, in the spirit of pissing Michael off, let's start a show off of that and really build off that negative energy. Let's piss Michael off this
Because there was
episode.
no negative energy during the watching of that film at all.
No, I like that movie. And welcome to every film in the book. This week, we're continuing our trilogy series. Even though we started with a saga, we're continuing with the trilogy, and I'm very happy about it. We're starting our another vampire series with Blade.
Yeah, the theme wasn't supposed to be vampires, but we ended up here, and
Yeah, it's kind of
It's
fun
fine.
how we ended up on vampires. And,
and not to say the next one will be a vampire movie, because fuck you, we do what we want, but this is a trilogy, and I've never seen it before.
And
Until now.
shockingly, a much different response to Blade than Twilight. I thought for sure you guys are gonna be like, where's all the shiny vampires? Nobody's twinkling.
No, it's just funny that like every vampire movie does their vampires differently. So I was like, all right, so what are your vampires' rules? And I was kind of interested in that. But then it got weird. It got really explodey.
I like when vampires explode.
It's a good time.
Sue me. Van Helsing did this when Hugh Jackman played him, and apparently everything explodes when they're evil.
Mhm.
So I'm totally cool. Explode your vampires in movies. I'm down for the exploding vampires.
Well, and it wasn't just the exploding vampires, it was the explosions and the guns. I didn't know vampires used guns so heavily.
So this must have been the direct inspiration to the movie Underworld, where it's like vampires and werewolves fighting each other in trench coats and like guns and bullets and everything. And like, don't get me wrong, I love those movies. I think Blade did it a little better, where it was like more like involved in one world and not so much like too much craziness and like playing into like the 2008 goth era.
Yeah, this was 98.
Yeah, this was the
Decade
98
before.
goth
And
era.
They
were more-
almost didn't stylize it at all, really. It was like, what if just everybody in the world just wears black like this? It's like it was all a level of bleak, so the action and the characters had to stand out, not so much like what they were wearing or what was going on. It's like, you know who
Right.
Blade is, you know who the bad guys are.
And you
Pretty
know
clear.
when they're bleeding because you see the red blood coming
Yeah, no.
in comparison
well,
to all the black.
Yeah.
just to go off of what Michael said, they really do make you seem like the minute Blade comes on screen, you're like, this is our main character.
Yeah.
I literally said it. I'm like, he's the only one not covered in blood, and you're walking up to a bunch of boots and trench coat. I'm like, yeah, that seems like Blade if I've ever seen one.
And
What, the guy with the blade?
what, the guy with the blade? The guy with the blade?
That's Blade.
No way.
Whoa, wait, Blade uses a blade? What the hell?
So this came out where, I mean, talking about it earlier, there's a lot of silly comic books, a lot of pow, a lot of ka-chow, a lot of, you know what I mean? There's like, they were doing TV shows and movies almost verbatim like comic books.
Right.
And this was the first one that kind of took it out from the like for kids fantasy and took a dark, not really dark. I mean, it's a vampire movie. It's going to be dark. But it was the first time that it was given kind of some level of horror,
right.
where all the other comic book movies were all the good guy always wins, no one bleeds, and you're never worried about, like, you never worried about Superman. You never worried about Batman in the TV shows and the old movies.
Because I
And
mean,
this one, you're like, oh, he's getting like bled.
well,
He's getting blood.
He's getting bled.
he's being hurt. But no, let me ask. So I'm not really like up to date on my dates of like the superhero movies. But so this came out in 98. When did like the first like Spider-Man movie come out?
After this,
After this. Was
So-
that like 2001?
1 or 3, I think.
1 or 3. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. So this kind of almost seems like it set a tone for what was going to come after it. Because, like, you know, when you get that next, like, Spider-Man movie or, like, the Fantastic Four movie,
Uh-huh.
like, they have a level of seriousness that this had. But they amp up, like, that cheese factor
Yep.
a little bit more, where I feel like Wesley Snipes, you're not really going to get him
Well,
to
and-
do,
and
like, cheese.
They-
Well, and they ramped up the sex factor. Like,
Oh,
oh my
yeah, they did.
God. I know that's a vampire trope, but holy
Well,
shit.
they
yeah,
took,
but
they took
and you
every-
also got Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
So turn up that sex factor. Let's go.
they took everything to a level that hadn't been done before
Right.
in a worldwide mainstream movie, and a lot of, well, basically this was the turning point for comic book movies, because if this didn't do well, they wouldn't have made violent comic book movies.
Right.
So this did extremely well. This is a huge film, and I think that's why everybody started putting some money and some time into making comic book movies. And then your early 2000s starts all of the good comic book movies.
Yeah. I mean that's when I was growing up. So like that's when I remember comic book movies starting to like get some grit with like the
Yep.
Spider-Man series, and like, yeah, the Fantastic Four didn't do so great. Ghost Rider didn't do so great, but we were trying
But even
to get like
Ghost,
superhero movies out there.
Ghost Rider had a lot of elements from this in
Yeah,
it,
it
with
really
the darkness and like a little bit of the explode. I mean, that's been done before, but just the violence and stuff was all kicked up to a notch where it was like, well, this is what they were. You can see these fight sequences in between comic book panels. You know what I mean?
I've never read a comic book. You know that?
No.
So from my perspective,
jeez.
no, I always just see these movies as movies. I'm like, oh, cool, Blade. And you're like, it's a comic book movie. I'm like, I would never have known that.
Yeah,
Because I'm not a comic book looker. Sometimes there's not words, there's just pictures, right?
I don't even think they even put like in association with like Marvel, or there was nothing Marvel related to this movie,
because he was a background character in comic books.
Yeah,
and then fans just liked the Blade character, and so he got his own.
Right. So like
he got his own.
It's definitely one of those things where it makes sense that like, how would you know this was a comic book movie?
Yeah.
Like you go into this like Blade, right, whatever. Wesley Snipes is in it. Let's go see it. He's probably a vampire. He looks like a vampire. So like, you know, there's no association with, like, they haven't started that like Marvel thing where everything they put out has to be either Marvel or in association with Marvel.
Yeah, and then you really know, oh, okay, it's Marvel.
And then they shove it down your throat for 2 hours now, and we're kind of tired of it.
Because, like, that's what they did starting with, like, the Ghost Rider series and the Fantastic Four movies and the Spider-Man movies. It started, they showed that Marvel logo after this movie came out, and like they hit a couple good ones, but then it started going downhill, and then they started selling off assets, and it was like a whole thing. But like, I think they started with something good. Like Blade seemed like a fun movie, and I'm sad that I came into it so late.
Right.
Because I know there's three of these now.
I was very surprised that you hadn't seen this one. But every once in a while, we find one that slips through the cracks for some of us.
And like going into that most recent Deadpool and Wolverine movie that we went to go see, and seeing Wesley Snipes step into the role of this character, I was like, cool. So you got Wesley Snipes to play.
For me, that was
I've never seen.
That was really cool. I was like, oh shit, it's Blade. Because I watched these probably, I don't know, shortly after 1998.
Okay.
Because I probably would have been, I don't know, like 10 or 12 when I saw it. So I probably would have saw this in like 2002 or 2003.
Yeah, I was 2 in '98.
Oh, yeah.
So you weren't watching
Yeah,
Blade?
you saw it.
No, I wasn't
You saw
watching
it.
Blade.
You were the baby in the opening scene.
That was me.
I'm surprised you weren't watching Blade at 2 years old. Like, what the hell were you doing?
That's on you. That's on you.
Oh my god! I mean, the fact that I've seen any superhero movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, like.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome. I've tried my best.
But I don't know if you knew this, Steve, but the guy that wrote this also did X-Men and The Dark Knight.
Really?
He either wrote them or was a part of the writing of.
Is it the Stephen Sondheim?
I think that's
not Stephen Sondheim.
Did you
what
say
the
Sondheim?
hell?
the dwarf guy or whatever.
Stephen Dorff.
Dwarf?
Yeah, I'm not sure the guy's. It doesn't matter who he is. Nobody gives a shit. We don't care about you, whoever you are. But you can kind of see, like, this was kind of his big break, kind of start,
Right.
where it got a lot of attention, and then he was allowed to do some things. And I loved the X-Men movies.
Yeah, no. Well, it's when we first started taking the idea of comic book movies like seriously. Like when those X-Men movies came out in whenever the first one was, like 2001, 2002, like it was a direct relation to like what was going on in the time. It was a big like terrorist thing, and like we're dealing with like differences in like the population. And they really hit. And then when that second one came out, that one really like skyrocketed superhero movies as like a medium where it's like, we can tell real stories and put people with superhero powers in.
I'm a firm believer in like some of these early ones, those guys were writing their asses off because they needed to pay their rent. Like these weren't $250 million productions. In the late 90s and early 2000s, they were proving to the world that we need our own studio, and that's what these guys were after. They were after, we want to start a thing,
right?
And
Thanos
This-
walked so that Blade could run.
well,
Well,
the opposite is
yeah,
true,
I
but
think you
yes.
have that backwards.
Blade walked so Thanos could run?
Yeah.
There we go. All
There
right.
you go, there you go.
Lightly jogged toward the destruction of half of everything. I don't know.
See, if they would have bought Blade in that final battle, they
And-
probably wouldn't have had trouble.
Yeah, if I could also say that I think it's a little interesting that he kind of has that like villain hero
Yeah.
thing, the vigilante sort of.
Yeah, he's like the anti-hero.
Yeah, because he isn't a heart of gold like Captain America.
Yeah,
you know,
he's
where
not
it's like,
bound to a moral
boo.
Yeah.
Captain America, boo.
Yeah,
but like
boo.
that's the one that everybody thinks is like the pure
Right, like you have your
Yeah.
moral compass characters like
Yeah.
Captain America, you got Spider-Man,
yeah.
but
And then you have
to have like your anti-heroes like
Mhm.
Deadpool and you got, Blade.
the singular goal-driven
Yeah.
characters.
Mhm.
And it's nice to see parts of how they made Blade in both heroes and villains.
Right.
Because he plays both really well in this as a character. And so it's nice to see, while Spider-Man doesn't kill people and ties everybody up and is good, in those movies you can see him kind of wrestle with his morality,
Right.
where this guy's just like, I don't have a problem with it.
Right. Like I
And
know what
even
I'm about.
His partner was
Mhm.
mad that he didn't kill that lady.
Right.
He's like,
right.
well, you should have finished her off,
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they definitely play with that like morality, but like Blade knows and is set in who he is. Like any vampire that I see, they're fucking dead. That's just how it is.
And it all goes back to these guys' moms. Like it's all,
Oh
it's
my
all like it's
God.
just
they all got mom issues.
moms
dude.
take a beating in comic books and movies. They just get trashed.
Yeah, well, because moms always have a bigger impression on their sons, and fathers have a bigger impression on their daughters
Right.
than vice versa.
So you're
No, and
telling
the-
me Blade should have been a girl?
Well,
Well, no, but it makes sense because like, Spider-Gwen, she's a big hero, but like she was more influenced by her father as like the chief of police and like all that stuff. It kind of like set her on a sort of moral compass where like, Blade, he's influenced by his mother. She was bitten by a vampire. She died because of it.
But
So
then
now
she
his
was-
whole thing is like go after them.
yeah, but then why was she trying to get him killed?
Yeah, that doesn't
What the
make
heck,
sense to
girl?
me. Why?
It's your son.
Well, she'd been sleeping in that sex coffin.
Like they haven't let her out of the freaking sex coffin. What the
Yeah, like
heck?
some of that didn't really
years
make
of
sense.
conditioning and reprogramming. Also, now she's a full vampire.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I don't know,
Come
but
on
still,
now.
again, like this villain doesn't seem like an imposing character.
Yeah, but he was the blood god. He was
I
the
could
god
have been the
blood.
blood god too, like
God
whoever
blood.
just happened to get dripped on at the time.
Well, he also had weird spirit pterodactyls flying through him. I don't know what that was.
It was
The
cool.
spirit
Skeleton
pterodactyls.
spirit
It
pterodactyls.
was the power of the 12 heads of the vampire table.
The
And
ghost
that's-
of Dracula's
That's why
past.
he didn't just explode, because it took all the heads of the whatever to be able to house the blood god.
Sure, but
No, not
when
sure.
you put it in
that's
a
exactly,
movie,
That's exactly
All
what
right.
it was.
all right, it could make sense in a comic book, and then you do it in a movie, and you're like, "What is going on? This doesn't make any sense."
So this, okay, that's fine. It made perfect sense to me, and
Oh, yeah,
you know,
okay.
okay, all right.
Oh
not my
God.
first time watching this movie. All right.
It's not his first rodeo. All right,
But-
let's go.
This is one of the few movies where I think if they just redid the CGI with today's technology,
Yeah.
watching it now, like you're watching this movie 27 years after it came out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
28 years after it came out.
Right.
So if this-
27. Okay, I'm 29. I'm not 30 yet.
well, I was talking about how many years since the movie.
Whatever. Not 30 yet.
So if this had the updated CGI,
Yeah.
I think you guys would have had a much different approach to it, because the lightning,
Yeah.
ridiculous, the blood dripping down on the heads was CGI, but the blood hitting the heads was
like
realistic.
real.
You could tell.
Yeah.
And
and like
then the
it's-
blood when he comes back together is like just it's a bubble.
Like, listen, I don't fault them for the 1998 CGI that they had. Like, I get it. Like, you got to do some things that are supernatural with dealing with a character like this.
I do think it's just like it even if you updated the CGI, it would still be ridiculous. Like if you took it shot for shot and just made it look more realistic, it would still look ridiculous because it is a ridiculous
like,
concept.
Yeah, and that's what I almost like about it is that ridiculousness, because it's like they tried to capture the spirit of like an 80s like Arnold movie with like the over-the-top gunshots and the sound effects and like the way he's like pumping his fist after like stabbing a dude to the wall. Like they made him like an action movie star, and it's cool. Like I like seeing my superheroes as like the star. Like you should want to be like, fuck yeah, Blade, like pin that guy to a wall. Fuck yeah,
and
like let that sword loose and like start cutting people in pieces. Like that's awesome.
the source material for this definitely wasn't written in the 80s or anything. Like the comics definitely didn't come out in the 80s. I don't know.
Wait, are you saying things were written before movies were made?
Yeah,
about
so
them?
like I think they did a pretty good job with that because the comics for Blade were that.
Right.
They were wild. And you had to, like with any comic book, you have to let your imagination fill in the space.
Right.
And
I think I'm too realist for this kind of stuff.
The comics.
Yeah.
but if you don't, my imagination came up with something like this. 100%.
Well, like
it's just
because like they can't draw every panel of action, so you kind of fill in like the swinging or like the backflips or like anything
right.
like
But
that.
they give you a starting and an ending point.
Right.
And what you can fill in with your imagination had to be wild because of how they started it and what they showed you next. And this is a pretty good representation of what I feel like most people would have filled in from what they were given in the comics, because these weren't like Spider-Man saves the day comics.
Right,
This is
right.
like he cut that fucking dude in half.
And so are you saying that they like followed one specific book to a T pretty much in terms of like those main
Yeah,
action
like I'm not
sequences?
familiar with any Blade.
Not one in particular, but there wasn't that many specific Blade on the
Blade
cover,
comics.
because he
Okay.
was a character in a comic book, and I talked about how
Yeah, you were saying he was like a Morbius character.
Morbius is in this, but they didn't give him a bigger role because they sold it, and they don't even mention that. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, who was Morbius?
so Blade was a character in the Morbius comics. Like Morbius
Right.
was the main thing,
Yeah,
and
like,
Blade
he
was
was
a
the main
background character
character,
in the
yeah.
comic books. And they gave Blade the movie because he was such a big deal, and they sold the rights to Morbius movies because they were losing money, and so they sold
Right.
off the main thing and then decided to make this movie based on a smaller character with a less book run.
Right, so
Because
it's
it
not
would have
like
been
as-
cheaper.
Yeah.
You know?
But so my question is, do you know for a fact that like specifically, let's say the scene where bad guy turns into the blood god, is that like from a
blood-
comic book?
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of ticker taped through, but the blood god and the ritual, while it might not have been exactly what the movie showed,
Yeah, 'cause
that was like the main, like one of the main
That
things
was one
in
of
the
like
in
his
the
main
comics.
villains,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
was the
Okay.
blood god thing.
And but not the douchebag.
Not
He
like
was way cooler.
shirtless Steve or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Steve that our villain wasn't like the most threatening kind of guy. He was
It's-
just kind of a
Well,
Dude.
it's hard to be imposing when you're acting against Wesley Snipes. Like he looks big, he looks imposing, and that's the way they're shooting him.
and he
you know-
also is like the type of leading actor that is very like confident. He doesn't show a lot of emotion.
Right.
Like, he's
like,
very just
he's playing the role well, where he's like almost just like the straightforward action hero. But when you're playing against that, you almost need to be more over the top, more crazy, more
Yeah, you can't be a whiny little
aggressive. Yeah, and like you already cast a scrawny guy in that role, and then trying to make him act tough against Wesley Snipes. I'm like, that's like getting fucking what's his name, the really scrawny guy in Dune, who plays Paul.
Yes,
I can't
Timothy
remember.
Chalamet.
That's like putting Timothy Chalamet against Schwarzenegger back in the 80s. Like, it's just not going to work.
The counterpoint to that is they wanted to make more Blade movies, so they had to kill somebody who was a villain.
And I mean, I get that, but like you can have a villain who's like
right,
a little more imposing.
Right, you can have an imposing figure, but he would have had to have had way more screen time in order to build that.
Yeah.
And just you're like acting opposed. Okay, you be the villain, and giant black guy, one of his first lines is motherfucker. So you act against that and try to look tough.
No.
Ain't happening, Steve. Ain't
That's
happening.
what I'm saying. You don't cast a guy like me. You don't cast a guy like the guy they put in this movie. You put a dude who's like a little more built, a little more ready to take on a threat that is Blade.
I think the runt nature of him is why they cast him, because he was a runt of the vampires. He was he wasn't a pure blood.
Yeah, it's more of a contrast to our main character than it is like a direct head-on
like
head
he's still
he's
a half-breed, but he's not the type of half-breed that Blade is.
I think it also kind of goes to show how like powerful the blood god is, because I don't know if you noticed, but he turned into the blood god. I think we could have come up with a little better name than blood god, but I'll put it past him. The blood god.
What about the god of blood?
That's better, actually, I think, than Blood God. But okay, so Blood God is apparently invincible until they kill him.
Not.
Yeah, but he did really good there for a minute.
He was doing good. He was kicking Blade.
Yeah, and then he like regenerated and stuff.
Yeah, and then he's like, you know what? I don't feel like regenerating anymore. I'm gonna die.
I do think one of the best shots was him getting cut in half, and then the top of his body is getting sucked back into the bottom.
Everybody else he's cut with that blade has died instantly.
Yeah. It's cool to see.
And he comes back, you're like, oh shit, this might not go well. But he probably wouldn't have killed him without her serum. Yeah. Because that was the full dose. And then even you were kind of hollering a little bit when he roundhouse kicked that last one into his forehead.
Hell yeah, dude. No, that's what I'll give to Wesley Snipes. He was such a cool, like unique action star where he was doing cool moves like that. Like he's kicking syringes into people's faces. He's pumping his fists when he cuts a dude in half. Like he's having fun. Like he gets he almost like is in on the joke. Yep. Of like the action star, where he's gonna play some scenes up a little bit, like when he's like, you either follow me or you fucking die. Like it's like tough lines like that, where it's like normal characters don't talk like that, but your action star, he does talk like that.
They definitely pulled from because I think this is originally billed as an action horror.
Yeah, it's an action horror, according to Google.
It's very action heavy between all the explosions and the guns and the fighting. A lot of fist fights also for vampires. Usually you see vampire movies where their one move is they go for the neck and that's it.
And
they're biting.
No scratching.
Yeah, no scratching.
No scratching. I'm thrilled. A vampire where we didn't get the long nails cutting into the concrete wall.
Yeah.
And I'm good. I'm good with that.
I can
Thank
live
you
with
for
that,
not doing don't do that. Like that's Nastafaro. Like that's that old kind of thing. So they definitely didn't do some things on purpose and then did other things which hadn't been done yet. And then people are like, oh, I forget which movie it is, but it's like, oh, this is the first comic book movie where they said fuck. And I'm just like, no, it's not. It was Blade in 1998.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
They said fuck
talking
a
about?
lot.
Oh yeah, that's
Because it was a big deal. Like,
that was First Class, X-Men First
Yeah.
Class.
they're like, oh, they dropped the first F-bomb. It's
Yeah,
like, no,
'cause
that same guy wrote a movie in 98. Wesley Snipes. It's called Blade. He said fuck 7
And everyone
times.
goes, "What's Blade?"
No,
Yeah.
that's a good point because this technically was the first R-rated comic book movie because it took us to Deadpool to get
to get more. Because
Right.
they went bananas with this one, and then they were like, okay, this did really well. I bet if we bring it down to here, we'll
Right.
hit this much more audience because they needed to make money.
Right.
So I'm a firm believer in this movie started the investment cycle into what we have today. Because
Yeah.
if this movie didn't do good, he probably doesn't write X-Men or the other one I said.
The other one he said, I forget.
X-Men or anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
the other superhero
If this
movie.
The Dark Knight.
The Dark
So
Knight.
if this doesn't get written in this fashion, those probably aren't as edgy, and everything just kind of stays kind of melodrama, a lot of cheesy.
Right. And I mean, we'll see it next, in the next 2 weeks when we, spoiler alert, cover Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi movie, because that plays more into like the comic book cheese. It's not as serious. It's not as like, it's more lighthearted. We're having fun. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
The power behind superpowers is awesome.
Well, they know their low bar where everyone can watch it,
Right.
and it's almost like they were trying to find the line, and they found the line. So it's like, okay, we have Batman and Robin here. Everyone, 5-year-olds can watch this, and it's fine. Then we have Blade, where parents were like, what the fuck?
We
And
can't show
then
this to our kids.
they come down a few notches where they do a little bit of it, but not a lot. They put a little bit of sex in it, but way less than this.
Right.
They do a little cussing, but maybe just a couple of shits. No fucks.
Yeah.
And if you look at this as a vampire movie, like they do the vampire stuff well, I think. It's interesting that they can bite some people and they don't turn, or like not right away, and other people like turn really quickly. But like besides that, the vampires in this are so much more legitimate than the fucking Twilight vampires. The Twilight vampires suck, okay? They're not good vampires.
So are you saying
not
you
intense
don't
enough.
want the people to vote for Twilight? For
No, definitely
for our
vote for
series?
Twilight. I want to watch the rest
So
of those.
here's the difference. In this one, the vampires came together, and they own the cops. They own the politicians.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
see,
own.
There you go.
They own
Yeah.
it. In Twilight, it's all broken up in families and
Yeah,
little small
it's
clans.
very
Well, see,
small.
And they don't. They
That's-
should have.
They should have expanded Twilight.
Well,
they do
Twilight-
expand it a bit.
Twilight just needed to unionize,
Yeah.
and they'd have been fine.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. So if the vampires own the cops, they're as prevalent in society as they are. What does this villain really have to complain about? Like, we should be the rulers. I'm like, well, you
He's
own
just-
the law enforcement. You own like people in the government.
But
Yeah.
they can't be who they are.
Oh
But
my
they
God.
are who they are.
They are who
because
they
they
are.
own people
And
as vampires.
They've been eating fine. There's no
right.
lack
Like, what
of
is he
food.
complaining about?
Okay,
that is
so
so
this is
bad.
this is the first movie where someone has bucked at the status quo.
Well, it's not that I'm saying
Okay,
buck at
okay.
the status quo, but they make
like.
it
Have you ever
seem-
seen High School Musical?
Yeah, what
No,
the hell?
but like
Basketball players can be in the dramas.
no, but it just seems like they have it well off.
Yeah, and you know
Like,
what?
If it
You
was
wait,
like,
wait. But you know what? The ego kid type
No,
makes
but
sense.
if it
now.
was like, oh my God, we're being forced to the shadows, we're being pushed into the gutters, we have no land, we have no like friends, we have nothing.
All right, so
But
But
like they
that's
have a
making
whole
it-
like
No.
society that apparently is running the world according to Blade.
yeah, it's not enough for him. It's never
they're
gonna be.
they're
enough.
not running the world. They were migrating from city to city wherever they could get a foothold. but I completely understand what you're saying.
Like,
But
it makes
he's-
sense, right?
I'm about to shit
Okay.
all over it.
All right.
So
Sorry.
the young question the old, the new question the current leadership. That's how life works.
Right.
And he also says, why are we living like this? We're able to own the cops and do this. Why are we living somewhat in fear and hiding ourselves from our own food?
Right. Right.
So he's like, we should be ruling them, not letting them live in this fantasy world that we allow.
Right.
We should be stepping on throats and doing what we want because we're so much stronger
So,
than him.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I think he's
Yeah.
totally justified in his
So
reasonings
he
to be mad.
almost
he just
want-
went about it like a douchebag.
He
Yeah.
just doesn't want to be a benevolent god. He wants to be like an active god.
The thing was, they weren't gods.
I
They
mean,
were
You could-
they,
they
they
could
were
be killed.
doing okay, but what he was trying to do was set up a utopia, like a utopia for vampires.
for just vampires.
Mhm.
Well, not just
Okay.
vampires. They gotta have the food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to keep the humans repopulating.
Right.
So you,
Yeah,
So
it's-
like
food.
that's fine. They could have like I don't know. They could have kicked all the people out of Australia, the rest of the world, and they know that Australia is where the vampires live and rule, and then they just like fly plane loads of people there to eat.
Right.
Human trafficking at its finest, people.
It's all going to
Thanks,
vampires.
vampires.
Thanks, vampires.
Hell yeah.
Now, I said I believe he was justified. I'm not agreeing with him. I'm just I'm not a vampire, okay? If anybody accuses me of being a vampire, I'm going to be upset, okay?
I will be the
I'm-
first one in the
So-
comments being like, I think that
I think
girl's
she's
a vampire.
I would have agreed with him, but I wouldn't have wanted to be part of his inner circle because they all got fucked up
Yeah.
and he killed a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Maybe just like the door guy that just like opens the door
Well,
for him,
the-
like, good to see you back.
Every
Close the
door guy in this movie got drop kicked through the door by
That's
Blade,
true, that's
Yeah.
true.
which
I
was
don't
pretty cool. It was
see.
pretty
I want to
cool.
be involved enough where I'm not fighting Blade, but not involved enough where I'm getting killed by my own boss.
And you
Wait,
can't
are we-
even work for them because that cop got his ass beat
Yeah,
like
seriously.
6 separate times
It's
just trying to
crazy.
deliver 6 bags of blood.
Yeah, are we vampires now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
must be, but like, I don't know. All I can say is I thought this movie was fun. I liked Wesley Snipes as our action hero. I thought he kind of like really honed in on like that 80s action star kind of mentality, and like he had his own like catchphrases, he had his one-liners, but they were like more like badass, not so much like jokey like an Arnold kind of style. But like, yeah, I mean,
it wasn't so much on the nose as some of the other stuff.
and like all you can really say negatively about it is it's a movie written in 1998. So it doesn't always have the best plot holes. It doesn't always have the best like reasoning, but it's still a fun it's a fun watch.
They
I had fun.
definitely used the formula. We've got the good guy and the bad guys, and the bad guys are hurting society, and the good guy's going to win, and an unexpected companion helps him along the way,
Right.
and he's got an Alfred.
Right.
Like that's
He's got to have an
like
Alfred.
it's Batman.
Yeah. Just with vampires.
But cooler
It's-
because Batman sucks.
Yeah,
It's
agreed.
No,
Agreed.
It's if Batman was actually a bat.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And they did quite a few. I don't know if you noticed some of the little things in it, like the blood god when
blood god.
he jumps in that martial arts stance of the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Wesley Snipes, actual martial artist, kind of like is it Michael Jai White?
Yeah, Michael J. White.
So Wesley Snipes, they're all in that same kind of category as. I don't know if I should have put them in the same category because I think Michael Jai White is much more proficient at
yeah,
martial
I think
arts.
he's more actually
But
involved in the arts.
The arts of martial.
the arts
Yeah.
of martial.
Marshall and his arts are respected by Michael J. White.
Wesley Snipes is a martial artist and does this, so they pay homage to the martial arts movies in
Right.
a couple of those stances. And then I thought it was funny that you guys made fun of it, where you're like, they kicked each other 6 times and they
Yeah.
missed. It's like,
They missed
I was
every
like,
time.
oh, that's classic. That's classic 60s martial arts movies. Like, that's classic. Like, so they did
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then they
No.
had the,
See, that was the stuff I wish they did more of, because it almost plays into like that cheesy action movie stuff that I love.
Well, I think they did it a fair amount for the
Mhm.
for the movie.
No, like, there was a specific scene of them each throwing 3 roundhouse kicks at each other and missing both time or all 3 times. Like, that's the kind of fun. Or like, again, I keep bringing up when Blade does his like fist pump for killing people. Like,
Yep, 3rd time.
it's one of those things where like, give your action hero like a thing, like he celebrates when he like does something badass, or like, he's got a little catchphrase every time he kills like a vampire. He's like, take that, bloodsucker.
Or
Like-
they could like give him a blade.
yeah. It would have been cooler if
Like
Blade
he
had
had
a blade.
thing.
But
like
they,
a thing like a blade.
yeah, they had the little,
No, but good point.
they had the little bat with the bloody feet.
Yeah, I'll
which
just
is-
be over here. Fuck you. And your blade.
Oh my god.
the bat with the bloody feet is
Yeah.
Nosferatu. And
Right.
They had a bunch of other things like that. I think they kind of set the tone of the world as like that bleakness as kind of like a Gotham City type.
Right.
So it was kind of fun to see where the roots of this is, and they kind of paid homage to it, but said, all right, guys, we're going to push the envelope a little bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only, real complaint I have is, why did Pearl need to be in this? I didn't like that. Just take it out.
So
I don't care if it was in a comic book. I know it probably was. Take it out.
The
I don't
only
like
reason they had to be in the movie was because we brought up that UV light,
it.
and we needed somebody
Yeah.
to use it against.
Know why I think they did that?
Why?
Because of Star Wars.
Star Wars, Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They thought it was cool to have
blade.
a giant person who is way too fat for their own right. Also, if they're that big, they should be shoveling food into their mouth every second of every day to maintain that.
my thing with that is the person surrounded by computers that's like the database nerdy
Yeah.
guy. They just did the opposite. So normally
Right.
it's a tiny, skinny,
Like scrawny,
white
unassuming-
guy with
Yeah.
disheveled hair, and in this one, the nerd is a giant blob of a metahuman
Yeah.
or whatever that can't move and is in charge of the artifacts in the database and like the knowledge center
Right.
of
That's
the
nuts.
vampires. But it is
Kinda nuts.
it is pretty funny because of the voice and the like.
Yeah.
It was silly.
You have to make your fat character talk like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
But
Also, it was pretty funny that she fries him again.
Yeah.
And he just looks at her and he's like, what? He
he
moved.
moved.
He moved.
No, and you know what? That's when I was sold on that character, because that's exactly what Blade would do. As soon as it moved, like talking, anything,
Yep.
he would fry that thing. So like that's when she finally like got on board with the whole Blade thing, and I like that. I was into that.
Yeah.
So there's 3 of us. So all we have to do is find 9 more people, and then we can summon the blood god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Is that-
Totally. Yep.
Well?
Wait, but who's gonna be the blood god?
Well, we can.
Uh,
I call the blood god.
No, you don't.
You should have called it faster. I want to be the blood god.
Well, you know what? Join us next week when Danielle won't be here.
Because I'll be out blood god.
She'll be blood godding.
Blood
but-
god.
she'll be busy collecting blood because she's a god.
But Michael and I will be here talking
Now
about.
we're gonna be like cleaning her toilets or something because she's
No,
the blood god.
All right, so
Fetch me a tuna sandwich. I'm
So-
the blood god.
after we're done fetching tuna sandwiches and cleaning toilets, Michael and I will be here talking about Spider-Man 1 by Sam Raimi, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. I'm very excited to go back to this. This is going to be fun. We're kind of keeping with that like early 2000s superhero thing with the Blade. So it's like it kind of worked out where we went from vampire to vampire, and now we're going superhero to
Then
superhero.
we went vampire to better vampire, superhero
to better
better
superhero.
superhero.
Well, I don't know about better superhero.
More
Blade.
whitewashed superhero.
Like we just made all the people in the film white. Is that
Yeah,
bad?
yeah.
Are we allowed to do that?
Whitewashed.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
No,
But-
but it is vampire superhero, just superhero.
Yeah,
We
so
did it on purpose. We're the greatest.
deal with it. We definitely planned that out, and we didn't have any other motives.
But join us next week for episode 99.
Yeah, we're getting
Getting
closer. But
close.
remember, let your voice be heard. Let us know. Do you want us to continue with Twilight? Do you want us to continue with Blade?
And you don't even
Or-
have to leave a comment. Literally just put a thumbs up on the one you like, because
Yeah, we'll go
we'll
with
figure
that.
it out.
And like Danielle said at the start of the episode, do what you will. We gonna do what we want.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do what we want.
Yeah.
And I'm very scared that we're probably going to end on Twilight. So
Twilight.
Join-
Twilight,
join us
Twilight,
in
Twilight,
4 weeks when we
Twilight.
inevitably cover New Moon.
Twilight 2. See you then.
See you in 2 weeks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah,
Blade,
blah, blah, blah,
blade,
blah, blah, blah,
blade.
blah, 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 blah.
Michael, give me your neck. I'm about to suck out your blood for the blood god, you motherfucker. Come here. Give me that neck. Yum, 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 yum. Give me that neck. I'm gonna take you out and sell you for the blood god. Come here. I'm gonna open up my shirt, show you my six-pack abs, and feed you to the blood god. Come here. Michael, come here. Michael, I want to talk to you about something. Come here. Michael, let me send you the blood god.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Steve having a stroke.